JSON placeholder.
Okay.
Slash users your one. Okay, fine.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now for this particular method, okay, now it is giving an error for us because we need to pass one more parameter. You just comment it for time being now. We will just go to the component and
Comment this
create
line.
no, only that return statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that you just comment for time being. Okay, now you just go to the component.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you inject that service. Already you're using some service for this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Done.
Yes.
Okay. Now in the component, what are the fields that you have in this? Only
Email,
username
password.
and password.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So any button you have created in that?
Yes, ma'am. Login button.
Okay. So now you declare one object for that too, so that we can retrieve that information in the component. Just declare constant and then post or something like that, and then try to retrieve it
In which method?
in there only, in the component only. Not in the method, outside the method.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Where did you write anything that you would like to retrieve that value from that using ng form, trying to retrieve the information?
Yes, ma'am. Use it.
There anywhere you are written, then in that only you just write it. You're validating their email ID. Okay, fine.
Email and password and
Okay, declare one method otherwise in that.
method. In this we create object.
Huh.
In this.
So what is that is a user, you are taking email ID and password.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you take those two things.
This dot email.
See what you whatever the data, whatever you are entering in that particular text box, email ID and password.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that you access here and then pass it in the URL. That's all.
This. Yes, ma'am. Pass in URL.
Yeah, that in the service you have a service, no? You just call this in the service. You are calling that URL, no?
I invoke this service test service.
There in the service you have written that post get sorry, that is http.post. There you have given the URL.
Yes, ma'am.
There you can just call this. See, either way you can do. Either you can just write in the component and send it, or in the service only, service itself, if you can just write it, you can just do that also. Both the ways is correct. Now you declared it, no, again. So
Yes,
just
ma'am.
go to the service, I'll tell you. In the service you have written the URL, no? Now
Yes,
that
ma'am.
get details, you that value, whatever it is, you pass it to the get details, that object here.
Yes, ma'am.
And that you pass it to the, so after this comma, you just pass that. I'll tell you one small thing so that you'll understand what it is. Whatever you are entering in those two text boxes, fine?
Yes, ma'am.
That you put it in an array or in an object and pass that.
Tester. Like that?
Just pass it, that's all. You just go to the HTML part of it, I'll tell you so that you'll understand.
Component.html.
Yes. So now in this component.html, you have email, okay, and password.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. So this email and password, what you do is you pass this, store it in the store it in that object or an array, and you pass it to that URL. That's all, nothing else.
Create array out. Testing service. Testing service. Tester.
Or you can do like this, instead of doing this dot, the service dot, the name of the method, and you just pass that obj. What is the name of the method? Pass that obj within brackets, parenthesis. Pass that obj there. I think the name of the method is different. Just check.
Yes, ma'am. Get details.
Now this is fine. Now you just go to the service. In service, you have written that method, get detail method. The tester, given it as any. Okay. Just write there console, just console it so that we'll just can see the output in the console. First, let us see whether it will display in the console.
Tester.
Execute it.
Here it is.
So now you can just see this here in this post method. Actually, what happens is this should go to that particular link, that is user link. Okay, so then you will be able to identify that how exactly it is working. It is just means totally it'll just be there in that, because now you people are just using this link, this part of it. No, so retrieving part of it will work fine for this. Okay, but if you want to add something into this part of it, because we don't have the methods and all, so I'm just showing you that this is how you can just use the part of the posting. So when you're telling posting, you can just save this into the database. So once you save into the database, you can just retrieve it.
Okay, ma'am.
So this is the way you can just use it in for post method. Okay, just once Bagel, just show them and explain it.
Yes, ma'am. First, we create login service invoked in app module.ts HTTP client module in import.
You should import HTTP client module.
And provide in provider we invoked I invoked login sign up service. Then go to login sign up service.ts.
Yes.
In this we have import HTTP client. In the constructor we have generate private HTTP HTTP client.
Okay, so 1 second. So now a simple way you remember is you need one HTTP client module and you need HTTP client. These are the two modules you need it. Okay, so the easiest way is HTTP client module, you import it in app module. Then HTTP client, you import it into the service. So it is very simple that you are importing the HTTP client module into the app module. You are importing HTTP client into the service. After that, the simple ways to remember is you need to create an instance for that particular HTTP client. So once you create an instance, after that instance, use this dot, the instance name, dot, whether you are using get method or post method or whatever the method, put method or delete method, whatever it is, the logic is the same. So in the service, what are you doing? You are here, he has given this private HTTP. So this is an instance of this HTTP client. So now this instance of HTTP client, you use it and post it, whether you want to post or get or whatever it is. So, and you give the URL of the API. So then after this part of it, if you are using get, you just use headers, parents. If you are using post, you just post the data, whatever it is. So what are you doing? You're putting everything in the form of an object and just passing that particular object. That is done. So when that is where you can just use the post method. And you inject this particular service into the component.
Login component.ts.
Yes. So in this, he is injecting that into the component. So for this, what you are doing in the component, in the constructor of the component, you just create an instance for that particular service.
Yes.
So here he has created an instance for that particular service. So now when you create an instance for the service in the component, it is the service has been injected into the component. So is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So all of you?
Yes.